So, this is the history of Gustavio SMP, as I like to call it. So, I started over here. Just about right here. And spawned right next to a village. And I was very happy, because villages are great. And so I started up a great community here. And eventually, I created a farm here, and I had collected items from from many villages, and I had all the things you could need right here. And I had this mine. This is the old mine, where I mined out this kind of house area where I could live. And it was just kind of a mine. Although, as you'll find out later, it wasn't just a mine for its entire life. And when you go under here, you'll notice there's these weird air pockets. And you might think, well, probably not anything, they're just randomly got built over. But no. This was part of a farm that I used to have. And a farm is really kind of normal thing to have in your Minecraft world, but not really anymore, because now it's more of a creative server, and this is just the spawn area, so I built over it. So yes, this was the first nation. I call it the Andesite Village, due to the fact that I loved polished andesites, and I had a stone cutter, so I mined out entire veins of andesite and built a wall around it. I only came up with this name just recently due to the fact that it never really had an official name, and it was a thriving community. It had a full-on village, which I've tried reconstructing, and it did not have the castle, although this was when a nether portal was built. Let's see, it's somewhere around here. I haven't been to this nether portal in ages. It's not lit anymore, but it always used to be. So yeah, that was that. But then, one day, someone on the Minecraft server decided that they want to be opt. And I had said no, because I did not trust anyone to be opt. And one day, I was down in my mines, when suddenly, I hear fire crackling. I run upstairs, all the way up the stairs, which weren't actually stairs at that time, they were just blocks, so it took a while. And I get up here, and the entire village has been burned down. The leather worker, the main house, these houses, all of the houses. And even they had been partially mined out. Really quite an offense for a house and a village to have been mined out too. And this was just kind of the Minecraft world then. It wasn't in good condition, it had been destroyed, it had been burned down, and I just didn't know what to do. And here's a cave that used to be open to the surface, and now is not. I'd kind of forgotten existed. And then I had gone south to go to the other village, when I found something. A sight that worried me. The village had been torched as well. And I've had many attempts to try to repair it, but I've never finished. I don't even know why it says Hall of Brazil. And I came back to this train station I had, and on this very fence post was an iron golem. But not just any iron golem. An iron golem that had been almost burnt to death, or killed to death, or drowned to death. And it had very low health, so it was all cracked up. And there was a sign on it. And the sign said, "You're next." Those were the remains of a fight against the raid, which came a little later. So, what I did was I didn't know what to do with myself, because my village had been torched, and all of the great items I had right here, including the stonecutter from that village in the last episode, they were gone. They had all been taken, and I had a farm with 2 adult foxes and a baby fox, and a horse. They were all gone. And so, I holed myself up down here. I blocked off the entrance and everything. And I started my own community. As you can see, I had saplings and was growing my own trees. I had all these things that had been left behind. I even started my own farm and had an infinite water source. And I was just doing pretty well. I had iron, I had way too many potatoes. Oh right, I had a potato farm. And I even had some diamonds that I got. And eventually I went to the Nether and got a bunch of stuff. And I just kind of eventually figured out how to get creative mode. And it used to go straight down, but then I decided to have it go around because it would be easier to defend. So I got creative mode and I built the castle. And I kind of finished up the walls that had surrounded the entire place and added lava into the moat I had started to dig. And this I called Two River, because at that time I came to the discovery that there were 2 rivers, one river here and one river over on the other side, right there. And if you look at the full map, you can totally see that they're really the 2 main rivers, and that's pretty much the closest they come, and that's right where the spawn is. So I thought that was a very fitting name. And the flag was this. A very fitting flag for this castle, which originally was all blackstone, although I tried changing it up to be cobblestone because I thought it was kind of evil looking, which I really was. That was kind of the whole point. And then it had arrow dispensers down here, and really, it was really kind of all set up. It had nether portal, an end portal. It had a villager place where villagers could have all kinds of professions, and then another floor where villagers could, do stuff. And then I had my own personal little house. I know, it was a pretty good house. And then up here, I had a TNT cannon. Obviously. You can't have a good castle without a TNT cannon. And I did this kind of effect where I had smoke going up, which I thought was very cool. And that's also when I started on these castles that I had built not just the main castle, I kind of started building some castles around here and some walls too to protect it, because I realized the war could happen at any point again. And this was the first castle, including I made it an island, dredging out all of that. And yeah, that was that. And then I eventually just became Foxtopia, where 4 villages were combined. The one in the north, the one in the south, that one, and also a village that I'd never shown before in the previous video because it was not built at that point and was a bit out of the journey. Boy, I forgot how long it takes to get there. Over here. Just a little quiet village. Yeah, so I worked on repairing the spawn village a little bit. And also, this was when the map was made. Or at least started. Because there was originally this map. A map of the entire server, as I called it. Not anymore. Now this is the map of the entire server. Yeah. It's really amazing. The northern village, the coast village, the main village, and the southern village. And then there was Snow Foxtopia, which encompassed the entire world. All of this. I mapped it all out, and then I claimed it my own. And I worked on grand projects. I began working on some grand projects, such as the canals and larger forts. Here is the original canal. Well, it was a tunnel there, but I had to build canals all around here. This is also when I branched out and built things like this, because I realized if I was going to own all this land, I was going to need to protect it. And I'm just going to show you all the biggest fort of them all. This fort. This fort was the pride and glory of Snow Foxtopia. It was the largest fort ever built. And many more like it were built. And then there was Draco City, which was next. And it went back to be what it had been just before, just the little area where the cobblestone walls had gone. And it split up into many, many different nations, all with different government types and flags and everything. And here is all of the flags in the Gustavio SMP. So next video, I'm going to be going through all of the nations in the Gustavio SMP, because it would just, there's so many, it needs its own entire video. Thank you. Gustavio out.